This happens to be one of the reps that works for Trane that bought this house, and hasn't worked right since the day he's got here. So let's go in here and see what kind of mess he's got and see if we can straighten it out. Okay. So the first thing we got to do is figure out which one is giving us trouble, which I believe is the top floor, if I'm not mistaken. And they got these things sitting where they can bring both of their line sets out the ugly way. So let's go in and find out what's what, and then we'll hook our gauges up and see what we've got. Okay, nice spray foamed attic. Tell you what though, prepare to see some ridiculous ductwork. Okay, that's our top floor air handler right there. There comes a 14-inch flex duct. Over here, going into our spaghetti bowl distribution box. Let's get the light on. Okay, so 14 comes in the top of it. Looks like we got a 4-inch, a couple of 8s, and that's about it out of this one. 1, 2, 3 8s and 1 4. Well, they couldn't just run a nice trunk line out of that air handler across here and cap it off and feed all these out of pipe. It's just beyond me, but that's the way they do it. Tell you one thing nice about these attics. You get up here on a 100-degree day and it's only about 80 up here. Looks like we got one. Oh, I thought it was torn up. That's just some foam laying on it. All right. So they told the homeowner that this air handler has a leaking coil. And we got a 12 coming out of the other side, going down here to another distribution box that has 1 4 and 1, 2, 3 8s out of it. I tell you, I just don't see the point. I just don't get it. fresh air. All right, let's go hook our gauges up and see what we got. All right, that was a nice little mess. Okay, this is obviously the top floor unit. So let's hook gauges to it and see what it's acting like. Okay. Well, I'm impressed. Those are actually tight. So, I think that's the first thing we've seen good, but let's get her hooked up. All right. Little to no subcooling, high superheat. So, I would say we definitely have a refrigerant leak here. And as much as some of you guys are against the way I do things, everybody's got their own way, I understand. So if you have a better way, I'm certainly glad to hear your critique and your comments, but I'm going to fill it up first and watch it run stable and get all this better configured, and then we'll look and see if we see leaks anywhere. And they claim inside the air handler they have a refrigerant leak on the evaporator coil, but we're not going to trust them. We're going to look, and if it needs to be replaced, we'll do it, or fixed. So let's get some gas in it first. All right, it's been running for 15 minutes. The highest I've seen the subcooling fluctuate to was 1.9. That's about as low as I've seen the superheat right there, 21.3 now. It was 21.4, but so let's give it some gas and get it up to operating capacity, and then we'll shut it down and start scanning around looking for a leak. They have come out twice to put Freon in it, and the second time they told him it was the evaporator coil, so we're going to confirm that. He does not want them to fix it, so we're going to do it. And I'm going to put in a little at a time and watch it. I think the subcooling on this is an 8. Okay, the 8 is plus or minus 3. Got a good bit of line set length here, but not a real hot attic. Not a lot of it going through the attic. The units are right here on this end, and there's our fresh air that you were looking at up there that's not more than 3 feet long going into the return plenum. So heat pumps I really don't like to go over. I just, you know, I don't like I know the variable is there for us to use it, but people get dirty filters and the head pressure runs up. So I usually go right to the target on a heat pump, sometimes a little tad below it. But we're gonna shoot for 8 and watch it run a little bit. And then we're gonna go inside and see what we see. I've looked around out here. I don't see any oil. I don't see any obvious spots out here. but since they did say they believe the evaporator coil's leaking, we're going to look at it first. We're not going to take their word, but we're just going to go look at it first. All right, we're pretty close. And the superheat did come down some. We're right at 8. So let's unhook all this and start looking for the leak. Okay. So as we looked at here, the line set's going that high. It's kind of ugly, but okay, that's fine. That's what they do. These are slab houses. You see there's no foundation vents in this. So. But look at that. We would literally have to have a ladder. Step back a little bit so you can see how high that is. I'd have to get at least a 6-foot ladder out here. And there's no way really to get it on the ground. The units aren't very far apart. A lot of people would wind up stepping up on this unit here. I'm not going to do that, but if I have to pull that disconnect out, look how ridiculously high that is. So obviously the electricians are also brain surgeons, and they're about as bright as a busted light bulb. Let's go inside and take a look at the air handler. Getting ready to walk back in, and I looked up the street, and that's a terrible sight. Sure hope to heck they wasn't at home when that happened. All right, we got screws out of it. Thought we had the screws out of it. This guy's never even opened this thing. Look at that. So how does he know it's leaking? He's never had the door off any more than that right there. What an idiot. All right, let's get the light. See a lot of electrolysis here. Start scanning it. All right, I know everybody hates the beeping and the sound of a leak detector here, but anyway, I've put it right there about 10 times. I went all over everything else, and this was, of course, the last place I went. Hitting it every time right there. Very consistently. Seems like that would be big enough to bubble. So Unless it's in the fin pack, we should be able to get it to bubble. As soon as we get down in there, she goes wild. All right, we did get it pinpointed right here, and I'll show you very little bit of activity that we get, but it's definitely enough to there she is. You can see it. Doesn't want to blow an actual bubble, but it is gurgling. Almost gonna get a bubble. That's her. All day long. No doubt about that.